Hi, everyone. This is Maheen, and welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. Today, we're diving into experiential marketing, exploring how brands can create meaningful and memorable connections with their audiences. Our guest today is Ryan Walker, the partner and president at Central Station, bringing over 25 years of expertise in transforming brand experiences. His work with top brands like Coca-Cola, Toyota, and Nike has positioned Central Station as a leader in bridging the gap between the digital and physical marketing worlds. Thank you for joining us, Ryan. It's great to have you here. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me.
Very pleased. Now, Ryan, let's begin our discussion with discussing the path to agency culture and creating long-term client relationships. Because you've built a culture at Central Station that thrives on empathy, on innovation, and collaboration, which are essential elements for fostering lasting client relationships. Ryan, can you tell us a bit more about some pivotal moments in your career that helped shape your journey and agency culture at Central Station?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've been at the Central now for about 3.5 years, and I inherited some of this. But, I remember growing up early days in the industry, and decisions were made for you. You were told, don't worry about it. We'll decide this, we'll do that. And you never really understood why decisions were made. That never felt right to me. It never really sat proper for me. I always wanted to be part of the planning process or part of the decision-making process. Not to say I got to do it, but so I could understand the process, understand the thinking, so I could better myself, or I could help the agency, so I don't need to have senior leadership always making the decisions. I could maybe come to them with some ideas or some options and have it sort of make sense for everybody. I remember one particular instance, early days in my career, where the agency I just started at, a big agency, big Toronto-based agency, we had a meet the CEO. So part of the onboarding was you get a chance to sit with the CEO, have 15-minute chat with the CEO. In this particular instance, it was a him. And we were about 5 minutes into our chat, and his admin walks in and leans over and whispers in his ear. It's just like the movies. Like, it really looked like just like the movies, whispered in his ear. And he had this look on his face. He kind of looked off into the corner for a second. And I said, do you want me to leave? We can reschedule this. Like, no big deal. And he's like, no, sit there for a second. So the admin walks out. He puts speakerphone. He proceeds to fire the second largest client of the agency. And this is a big client at a big agency. And he proceeds to tell the person on the other end of the phone, the reason I'm doing this is because you're not treating our people properly. We've had this discussion before. We won't stand for it anymore. So we're going to enact our 30-day clause. And being a new kid, I was like, that is absolutely amazing. And what I took from that, and I asked him after, I said, why didn't you want me to leave? He says, well, it's an open, honest, and transparent culture. You need to understand what I'm going through just as much as I need to understand what you're going through in order for us to be an agency. And I was like, that's amazing. So since then, I've always carried this culture of open, honest, transparent, as much as you can be. Obviously, there's certain things you can't talk with everybody about. But try as much as possible to be as open and honest and approachable as we possibly can be with each other. So that was that one instance. I thought it was just, and to this day, it's still, I can see it clear as day, as if it happened yesterday. It was very eye-opening, and if I ever get a chance to thank him, I will one day. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's amazing. And it's really inspiring to hear how this foundational moment really helps create a unique culture that really resonate with people and with clients. But Ryan, what strategies do you see or do you use to maintain these long-term relationships with high-profile clients who constantly seek innovation?
Yeah, it's a great question. Again, open, honest, transparent conversations. They're very important to have, not just with staff, but also with clients. At Central Station, we have a philosophy called Arrive Together, meaning we don't work for our clients. We work with our clients, in partnership with our clients. We talk early and often. We dig deep. We understand what keeps them up at night, what their challenges are. And I think it's really important to go beyond just the brief that you get, really try to dig deep and understand where their pain points are. So we chat frequent, early, often. We get to promising paths. We have discussions with our clients. We don't like big surprises. We don't like getting a brief and going away, and then 3 weeks later you come back with a ta-da, here's our thinking. You don't get to great work that way, and we don't feel clients appreciate that. Clients like being involved and included along the way. They don't want to do all the work, obviously. That's what they hire us for. But they want to be part of that process. And we feel that is the best way to get to solid solutions to problems, is that ongoing dialogue and conversation, or what we call arrive together.
Right. No, thank you so much, Ryan. Building lasting relationships is invaluable, and especially for small businesses that are looking to foster client trust. And listeners, remember that lasting relationships aren't built overnight. They're nurtured through trust, through empathy, and innovation. Ryan, up next, we'll explore the blend of digital and physical marketing that defines experiential marketing. Because experiential marketing, it offers unique ways to engage consumers by merging digital and physical worlds, and small businesses especially can learn to create meaningful connections. Ryan, how does Central Station approach integrating these digital and physical elements to craft memorable brand experiences?
Yeah, it's vital. Again, I'm going to go back to the talk early and often with your clients. It's vital that you understand the true challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding who that target audience really is. At Central, for instance, are we talking to a sneakerhead that's looking for the latest shoe drop, or are we talking to mom while she's out on her holiday shop? Those are two
Right.
completely different audiences, and how you weave innovation into that conversation is completely different. Um, we feel that digital for digital sake, or innovation for innovation's sake, is not the best way to get to a solution. A lot of agencies have big shiny things that they want to constantly push and utilize in solutions. So it's more for coming from that space. Whereas for Central Station, we always dig deep into the challenge. How do we solve it? How do we build digital into it? Obviously, digital is a very strong tool for the pre and the post shop or experience or engagement. And often it's important during the engagement, whether it's technology through touch screens or latest AI tools to help you build a solution. But technology for technology's sake never really sat well with any of us. So we always look at what is that core challenge and how do we build that experience to answer that core challenge.
That approach really shows how brands can engage deeply with consumers. Now, for small businesses that are just starting out with experiential marketing, what initial steps would you recommend to create effective strategies?
Listen to your clients. If you're starting out, you're relatively new in this space. Your clients have been doing it or have been doing marketing for quite a while. They've maybe gone down the path that you initially want to go down. Listen to your client, talk with your client, and understand, like I said, those core challenges. What is at the center of what they're trying to achieve? And then also dig a little deeper and say, what are the KPIs? What are we being measured against? If it's
Mhm.
click-throughs and things like that, then yes, digital is a really great tool. But if it's getting something in someone's hand, maybe digital isn't the best tool. Maybe another type of in-person physical experience is a better tool. So really listening and understanding. A lot of people jump straight to the solution without spending time to really peel back that onion and understand what's at the center of it.
Oh, it's really inspiring for small businesses to see how impactful connections can start with simple, thoughtful strategies. So, thank you for that, Ryan. And listeners, know that experiential marketing isn't always just about scale, it's really about impact and creating a memorable journey for your audience. Coming up, we'll discuss the process of designing large scale experiential campaigns because, Ryan, executing complex campaign requires innovation and meticulous planning, and leading large scale product projects must come with its unique challenges. Could you please share a campaign that holds particular significance for you and explain what made it memorable?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I just got goosebumps when you asked me that question. I'm not kidding. It takes me back to my first foray into this industry back in the late 90s. I'm aging myself, but back into the late 90s. A president of an experiential agency at the time had just come back from a US based event, saw the Johnsonville largest barbecue in the world. It was a 53-foot oil tanker that opens, splits in half, and they're grilling hot dogs on it. And he came back to Canada and thought, we need an event vehicle like this here. So he approached a couple of different clients and potential clients and said, hey, what do you think? They all loved it. They said, sounds expensive. Go and find a partner. So we ended up on the door of Budweiser, and Budweiser said, we love the idea that you're thinking of. We don't want partners. We want you to go away and create a mobile tailgate party that can pull up anywhere, whether it's in a parking lot of a Jack Astor's, if it's in a field in the middle of nowhere, or if it's at a university campus somewhere. We want you to create the Budweiser Big Rig. We're going to partner with the NFL, and we're going to create a mobile tailgate party. So off you go. So then he asked me to help because I went to school for engineering, and he asked me to help in the design of it. I'd never done anything like this before, ever in my life. And here I am designing the Budweiser Big Rig and figuring out how to make things happen for an experience for a consumer at an event. And to this day, it still resonates in my mind as one of the most amazing things I've been part of from the fabrication and design point of view. Then I got to run it on a national campaign point of view, and then I got to know the Bud brand team, and that kind of is how I got my entry into this crazy world of marketing and experiential marketing. But yeah, that the designing and developing and building and executing the Bud Big Rig was one of the biggest things I've done.
That sounds like a truly rewarding experience, and it shows the power of pushing boundaries in experiential marketing. Now, looking back, Ryan, what's one lesson from your large scale campaigns that could benefit smaller businesses?
The biggest lesson I learned, or I continue to learn, let's put it that way, is the devil's in the details. Like
Hmm.
really sweat the small things. It's very easy, especially as a president of an agency, to step back and look macro and at all the big milestones and the big steps. But you really got to focus on those smaller details, especially when it comes to experiential marketing. So many things happen on site. So many things can happen on site that you don't think of. So you have to be prepared for it all. And by really focusing on those little small details, that's when the big picture comes to be, right? Because every single big milestone or big event is comprised of hundreds of little things. So really focus on the smaller, minute details. That'll get you to greatness.
So these insights show that even small businesses can approach projects with a large scale mindset. Up next, let's discuss the impact of Canadian consumer behavior on your marketing approach, because understanding local consumer behavior is so essential to creating, relevant experiences. And Ryan, working in Canada must bring unique challenges and insights. How does the Canadian market shape your strategies, and are there any particular aspects of Canadian consumer behavior that influence your work?
Yeah, I would say the first thing is understanding the social and cultural nuances of the Canadian marketplace is key. Far too often we think of ourselves as US light or little US or something along those lines. We are completely different. Yes, we put our pants on one leg at a time, and we do all those things like Americans do. But we shop differently, we consume differently, we engage with brands differently, and it's really important to focus on those cultural differences. Our geography is so vast as well that an XM event out in Vancouver may not resonate the same way as an XM event out in Halifax. So you
Right.
got to make sure that you understand those cultural nuances. You understand the difference in the makeup of the consumer or the shopper in those individual markets to really make sure that the event is a success through and through.
No, adapting to local markets is key. And it's well said that, especially for small businesses that are looking to connect deeply with Canadian consumers. Finally, Ryan, let's discuss your advice for aspiring entrepreneurs about creating impactful brand experiences, which is a goal for many entrepreneurs. And your journey, it offers so much for those that are starting in experiential marketing. Ryan, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs that are wanting to break into experiential marketing? And are there any takeaways for those that are just starting out?
Yeah. Firstly, very competitive. It is a amazingly competitive but rewarding marketing niche at the same time. Things may not immediately go your way. They don't necessarily always do. You're going to trip up, you're going to fall, you're going to fail. That's 100% fine. I find that as an entrepreneur, we're kind of wired differently anyway, where failure kind of motivates, whereas often other people, failure shuts them right down. But as an entrepreneur, failure motivates often. So the way success as I sort of built it up as well after that first initial foray into the business was start small.
Mhm.
I was fortunate enough to stumble onto a Budweiser. There's not many Budweisers out there. There's lots of smaller brands that are looking for experiential help or looking for some kind of marketing communications help. Focus on the little guys, get some little wins, build up some cases, and then start to sort of expand your outreach. But really focus on clients you feel you can handle. There's no
Mhm.
point walking into Coca-Cola tomorrow as a new startup and saying, "Hey, I want to be your XM agency." They're going to look at you and go, "Well, what cases do you have? What proof points do you have?" Focus on smaller, get some wins, and then expand that as you go.
Oh, thank you, Ryan. And for entrepreneurs listening, please take Ryan's advice to heart. It's really about staying innovative and really understanding your audience. And now, Ryan, before we let you go, what's on the horizon for Central Station? Are there any new directions or exciting projects that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, we've been fortunate over the past 3 weeks to win two large pieces of business, one with Sephora and one for Samsung.
Wow.
That we're in the midst of onboarding right now, and those engagements are going to be quite impactful to our group. We're really looking forward to driving innovation and driving change for our clients. And that obviously starts internally. You've got to look at things a little differently, but we're really focused on driving those solutions for our clients. And, we're excited and eager to roll up our sleeves and get right into it.
No, Ryan, thank you so much for sharing your insights and experiences. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. Again, thanks for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
And listeners, as we wrap up today's episode, we explore the power of experiential marketing, building strong client relationships, and the evolving landscape of brand experiences. Crafting meaningful interactions can significantly elevate brands of all sizes, fostering deeper connections and lasting impact. A big thank you to our guests as well as to our partners, RBC, UPS, Constant Contact, IAG, and Google for their incredible support in bringing these stories to our audience. To stay updated with more insightful content, please visit CanadianSME.ca and subscribe to the magazine. Again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.